Alright, that's enough. You're probably wondering why I played The Price is Right failure horn more than once. Well, guess what's happening? The LIRR is discriminating against, well, the MTA and actually altogether is discriminating against people in Long Island. Preferential treatment on the South Shore and in Metro North territory. I know I'm from Metro North and I would like improvements on Metro North, but the Long Island Railroad main line and Port Jefferson branch needs improvements. This is why I'm making this video almost immediately after my last video, just about the same topic. PinePowerLI, you're not alone. I'm on your side, and this service on Long Island without buses, service like knockout without buses, is unacceptable, and I couldn't imagine doing that since I can't drive either, just like you. But I'm also disabled too, so I find it hard to get around. That's why, unlike Long Island, which has only 8 paratransit vans in total, the B-Line paratransit I find unreliable. But we're not talking about the problems in Westchester, we're talking about in Long Island. And he mentioned electrification of the Port Jefferson branch and Montauk branch. There should also be of the Central branch and Ronkonkoma to Yaphank, along with the Oyster Bay branch, which you didn't mention, probably because it's North Shore. But we need improvements in Long Island. We need the triple track project to turn into a 4-track project. We need, and maybe have a 5-track station at Mineola, make it look like Stamford, have the 2 side platforms, 2 island platforms, and then the middle track go through. We need the former sections of double track only at the Ronkonkoma branch. They need 3, I think, if we're gonna have good service on the Ronkonkoma branch, like the peak service we have today, without reverse peak service. But this discrimination has to stop, and that's why, if the MTA is not going to provide good service, I'm going to do what no individual in a private company ever did before, is create a private railroad. Instead of doing the Westchester plan, which I was going to do first, I'm doing Long Island, which is inconvenient for me since I'm not near there in the area, but it has to be done there first. 5 parallel lines I'm going to beg to be permission to build between Northern Boulevard on the north and Hempstead on the south in latitude. They need all that service, just like how Europe, Germany, Japan, China gets all that service. And yes, I know there's the different countries. And I might be in that area that PinePowerLI dislikes, but I'm not a finance professional on Wall Street. I'm a business owner. I sell this actually trading card game, oddly enough, on eBay. There's 16 decks in stock, none have been sold. So my business isn't still in the starting phase. I'm not a finance professional, I'm a business owner, but I care about the center of the island, which is becoming unsafe for people. That's why Hicksville is being referred to as Skidsville. Long Island needs your help, or my help, I mean, because the MTA is violating Title VI and is not helping them. Yes. And those M3s have just got to go. They're the worst performing units ever. The Metro North M3s perform 1,000 times better than the Long Island Railroad M3s. The M9s are needed. And finally, they're in service. Yeah. Luckily, the Long Island Railroad M7s perform better than Metro North ones models. I mean, and I think that, yes, the Floral Park station is not accessible. It needs to be rebuilt to be accessible by wheelchairs. I'm not sure if Lynbrook is, but stations like that need to be accessible by wheelchairs and not have so many escalators, but have more elevators. It's just unfair, this situation on Long Island. And it's just, like, not cool. This rail system that I'm planning on doing is going to be inexpensive. It's only going to cost, like, a few $1,000s to get, like, some of the startups, maybe two out of the 5 lines ready. I'm not going to do the as frequent stops in the suburban railroad at first, but more like commuter rail service. Like stops at Floral Park, New Hyde Park, Maryland Avenue, Mineola, Carl Place, Westbury, Newcastle, which should be a stop on the Long Island Railroad, Hicksville, Plainview, Melville. Yeah, it should go along that corridor between the Port Jeff and Ronkonkoma branches. Dix Hills, Half-Hodge. Yeah, it should go there, too. Then on the Ronkonkoma, across the parallel to Ronkonkoma and Port Jefferson branches to Wading River and everywhere. Yeah, we should have better service. So Long Island Railroad gets it first, then New Jersey, which even though they're suffering more, they'll get it afterwards. Yeah, Long Island needs that service because the MTA is discriminating, unlike New Jersey Transit. Yeah, Long Island, they need service. I recommend you check out PinePowerLI's recent video, that rant about the that MTA committee meeting. But I'm telling you, it had no Prices Right failure horns, which we need more of. I'm gonna play it again. So here's the map of Google Maps, Long Island. This is where the lines would stop running, and this is where they would also stop running from, like, there would be one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Here's an area without any train stations that I mentioned earlier. Plainview, Melville, Dix Hills, Half-Hodge. All these things around here. Then here's the Yaphank, where the eastern end of electrification is eventually planned in the 2030s. Here's Patchogue. And here's Wading River, where all the LIR used to go, and they shouldn't have torn apart the tracks there. They should never be tearing apart tracks just because of the lack of use of railroads. We do want the parks too, but why can't we have both? Wading River, Baiting Hollow. And I think that the Port Jefferson branch should have electrification to Port Jefferson and bump the diesel sets to Wading River. Maybe run those shuttles to Port Jefferson every 1.5 hours, and then half-hourly service on the Port Jefferson and Ronkonkoma branches, along with the Montauk branch up to Speonk. And you know, these towns, with the exception of Freeport, are really nice places to live, but hardly any people can afford them. Yeah. We just need a better center of the island before it gets to be a place that PinePower and other people like him get forced out of. He does have 3 other friends, luckily, that care. Plus me. I care about him. And then the station that was going to be like the cross-county center, it's going to be a major center for transferring to another part of the island, is at Jamaica or at Hicksville or Skidsville. yeah, those would be stations for transferring to other trains that are, like, mad crazy, with 10 times as big as Grand Central. So that's gonna wrap it up. This video is getting too long. Bye.